Good morning, everyone! Today we're going to make something easy from our collection of sweet recipes and the beautiful cakes we love. We're going to make a very easy chocolate cake today, and we'll do it in the blender. The sauce will be included, and we won't have too many complicated steps, but it will turn out amazing, just like you see here. Even the cream idea that goes with it is very simple and easy, and it won't take much of your time. Everything will take you about half an hour. Let's get started with our recipe. We'll need a regular blender from our collection. We're going to add a cup of milk. The milk can be slightly warm. A cup of oil. We add a cup of sugar and half a cup of inactive cocoa. Inactive cocoa is bitter cocoa or cocoa that has no sugar left. We're going to blend them in the blender. First, mix it, then we'll scrape sides. If you're worried the consistency won't thicken, drizzle in the oil slowly. It should thicken fine because the dry ingredients are heavy. I scraped sides and gave it another blend until the sugar dissolved. This is what our sauce looks like. See how thick and amazing it is. We'll take 1 cup and set it aside, then continue with the rest of our steps. I'm going to scrape sides, and here I have eggs at room temperature. These are medium eggs. Blend ingredients. Add vanilla if desired. Mix flour, baking powder, and salt. Mixture should be thick. We're going to add a tablespoon of vanilla, and by the way, the vanilla is optional. If you don't have it, you can skip it, because chocolate cakes usually don't have any eggy taste, and the cocoa takes care of that, so you really don't need the vanilla. The vanilla just adds flavor. Now let's mix in a cup of flour, a tablespoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt, about a teaspoon of salt. Let's stir it all together, really well, so that the baking powder is evenly distributed. This is the consistency the mixture should have. I'm just making sure it's mixed well, so that the baking powder is evenly distributed, and as you can see, it has a bit of thickness to it. In a 22-centimeter tray, of course, if you like, the cake piece can be a little thick. You can use a larger rectangular or square pan so we can cut it into rectangles or squares. The shape of the cake remains the same, and the size could be 22, 24, or 26, depending on what you like. The piece of cake, how will it look? How thick is the cake? I put it in a preheated oven at 180 degrees for 15 minutes. Take it out when done. Once it's done, remove it and check with a skewer. It should be clean. Let it cool for 5 to 10 minutes, then flip onto a rack to release heat and steam. But it should cool down first for about 5 to 10 minutes. And now I'm flipping it onto a rack or something so it can cool properly and release all the heat and steam from it. While it's cooling down, let's prepare our cream. A cup of whipped cream. Whipped cream, either plain or with sugar. It depends on how sweet you want it. By the way, I'm using a cup of whipped cream with sugar. And I have a cup of cold water. And I add it gradually, 1 bit at a time. I don't have to add the whole cup. I can add half of it depending on what I need. And I keep whipping and adding until I find that the cream is holding together really well. And its consistency remains. As you can see, if you don't have fresh whipped cream, you can use regular whipped cream from a can, about 100 grams, and also add the water gradually. And if you're using fresh whipped cream without sugar and want to add sugar, then you can add, for example, mix a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar with whipped cream. Whip the cream unsweetened, or add a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar to 2 cups of cream. The whipping, which is the liquid dessert cream, and if you want it without sugar, just whip it as it is. So, if you want 2 cups of cream and you want it to have sugar, add a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar to it and whip it. You have all the options available. Now we take the sound that we set aside. We take 2 big tablespoons of it and add it to our cream after it has set and held its shape. And we give it another whip so that the chocolate mixes well with the cream. And now we put the cake in the pan. Put it upside down. You can, if you want, trim a bit from the bottom to level it out, but I'm not going to cut anything from it. Just place it like this. Now we put the cream on top. The cake has completely cooled down. Before we add the cream, of course, we don't want the cream to melt or dissolve. And we start to smooth it out and level it like this. And we smooth it out. Now we wipe off the excess with a napkin from the edges. It should be smooth and perfectly set. Put it in the fridge to set while I take the rest of my sauce.